Mu'adim l'simcha, Rabotai. Now that we've been banished from the Bet Knesset for close to a month, including Shabbatot, including Yamim Tovim, and now the days of Chol HaMoed, it gives us time to ponder and actually prepare for our return, our speedy return to the Bet Knesset. But it's going to need some preparation. All of us know that there's 613 mitzvot in the Torah, the famous ones like Shabbat. Now we have Pesach, Hametz, the laws of Kashrut, the laws of family purity. But there's one mitzvah from the Torah that might not be so well known, and that's the mitzvah that says Umikdashi tira'u, that we must fear the temple. And the Sefer Haredim writes that it includes Bet Knesset, the synagogue, and Bet Midrash, not only the temple in Jerusalem, but all synagogues and houses of worship, even the ones that exist in our generation. We have an obligation to fear it and treat it with great respect. As a matter of fact, the great Sefer Haredim reminds us of a takana, of an enactment that took place 500 years ago by the two greatest Kabbalists of the generation. And I quote, Ushne hachamim mikubalim gedolim bedorenu. Well, he lived 500 years ago in the same town as these two mikubalim. It was Sfat. And he says, Pasku hadibur bebet knesset legamre. They made a takana, no more talking in the synagogue at all, except for Divrei Torah and Yirat Hashem and things that have to do with fear of God. And who are those two mikubalim? He says, Vehem hacham hashalem kemohar Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Of course, we know the great Rabbi Ramak, the Baal Tomer Devorah, v'hacham hashalem kemohar Yitzhak Ashkenazi, who is the Arizal. So you see, this is not something new. Hachamim, for hundreds of years, have been establishing takanot in order to preserve the sanctity of the Bet Knesset. And I'd like to tell you something, Rabotai. We've been praying at home. Well, maybe the prayers at home are not with the same kavanah that we have in the Bet Knesset. Maybe they're not as long as the prayers in the Bet Knesset. And clearly we cannot answer Kaddish and Barechu and Birkat Kohanim. But one thing I will say, that the prayers in the home is actually better because nobody's talking when we're praying in our homes. During the time of Tefillah, for the time of Shaharit, we're not talking to anybody. We open the Siddur, we start from the beginning to the end, and we close the Sefer. One thing we're fixing, at least in the prayers in the homes that we're practicing, is not to talk during our prayers. And that's a good preparation for when we come back, that we have to accept upon ourselves, not only mentally, but I'm going to tell you today, we have to accept it in writing. In writing? Why do we have to accept it in writing? There's a Gemara in Shabbat that says that there was a great rabbi called Rabbi Ishmael, and it says that he, by mistake, unwittingly, tilted the candle on Shabbat, and he caused the oil to go towards the ner, and that was Hilul Shabbat. And it says in the Gemara that after he did that, it says, Katav al Pinkaso, he wrote on his ledger, Ani Yishmael ben Elisha, I Yishmael ben Elisha, Kariti ve'etiti, I did this sin. And when the Beit HaMikdash will be built, I pledge to bring a Korban Chatat. Now, why didn't Rabbi Ishmael just accept it in his brain? Because he wanted to do an action. He didn't want to wait for the Beit HaMikdash. He said, let me write it so I could show God that it's serious. And therefore, I think now's the time, Rabotai, to take out your Pinkas, and you have to write, when the Beit HaMikdash, when the Bet Knesset is returned to us, I accept upon myself that my behavior is going to be different. I'm not going to talk during Hazara. I'm not going to talk during Sefer Torah. I'm not going to talk during the Kaddish. I'm going to treat the Bet Knesset like the Sefer Haredim writes, Yesh le'adam ladun kal vachomer min hagoyim. You have to learn a kal vachomer from the goyim. Ha'omdim bebet teflutam, that when they go to their places, she'omdim ke'elemim, they stand like mute. And we shouldn't, has v'shalom, be any worse. We must be better. And therefore, I urge all that are listening to me right now to go to the website stopthetalking.org and sign up. That's the official Pinkas of Klal Yisrael. Write on that ledger that you accept upon yourself now, before the Bet Knesset it returns to us, that our decorum and our behavior and our conduct in the Bet Knesset is going to be different. And I have no doubt that Be'ezrat Hashem, just by the Kabbalah, by writing it in the Pinkas, that'll be a zechut to speed this process up. And then when we finally get back to the Bet Knesset, we'll be able to implement. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Borei Olam should say, Dai letzarotenu, in the zechut of this Kabbalah of stop the talking in the Bet Knesset.